Hello everyone, welcome to Ekam Academy. Today is 6th February 2025. And today, some editorials which appeared in Hindu, they are very important, but in Indian Express too, we had one particular editorial regarding with the science and technology segment, which is very important for your general studies paper 3. So whereby in India, a turning point for innovation has come into picture. Until now, the science and technology innovation was mostly, if you see, since the past years, it has been driven from the private universities, where government is funding these particular private universities to create huge amount of innovations. Earlier, science and technology was running at very slow pace because completely it was under the fold of the government. So how this particular innovation is going to help India, and what are the challenges which we would be facing through private university driven innovations and technologies, and what are the measures which we have to follow? That is what we are going to calculate in this particular video. So if you see the context, there is a paradigm shift in India's science policy. If you see, since the last 10 years exclusively, since the BJP government has come, they have given a huge platform for this particular science and technology segment, from state control to private innovation. So earlier, if you see, completely before 2014, it was completely in the hands of government entities. But as the private institutions, private universities have entered into this technological innovations, more and more innovations have come, and our complete shift towards this particular private entities have made India to stand at one particular top ranks in these particular technological innovations. India historically also it had created or placed high importance for the science and technology. Initially, state-led institutions dominated this landscape, but now private-led institutions or private-led universities are dominating this landscape. So private organizations, if you could see, like Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, this is going very great. Or if you could see Baba Atomic Research Center, which were brought under the fold of government, but these are not completely government institutions or the state-led institutions. They are under the full nature of the government. That's it. They have been, these two institutes, if you see, they have been yielding huge amount of success as such. And this yielding success, like 1974 nuclear test which was there, in such a regard, many technological innovations have come into picture. Over the time, there has been shift of more comprehensive approach, incorporating private firms. Bringing private firms is very good, but completely depending upon private firms is not that great ever. So government also should have control on these particular technology innovations as such. If you could see the need of intellectual capacity in private firms, what is the actual necessity? Because private players, they play the game of competitive nature. Clear, they keep up the targets. The target-led oriented nature makes the technological innovations to happen within exact target fixed time. So innovation which is there, it requires intellectual capabilities in people and firms, not just in government organizations. Clear, it might be anywhere. It might be in private institution or government-led institution. So comprehensive national power and GDP growth depend on private sector involvement in the research and development. As you could see, I was explaining regarding with the Baba Atomic Research Center, which we have thought that because of that, our nuclear capacity started running more and more effectively. Like you can take the examples from US and France, which illustrates successful private sector integration into public funded research. So every time government has to fund these particular segments and private players have to be integrated into these particular innovations, then only the results would be more better. But complete privatization is also not appreciated, because chances are there these innovations or the technological outcomes which are there, finally the consumer reached benefit would be less. The reason behind it is, you can see some private entities where the technological innovations they have did, the outcome to the consumer market is very less. That's why integration of private players should be there, but state funded capabilities have to have a larger picture. Like state funding Research should happen, but most of the research has to be done in private universities or private research centers. So if you see the lessons from US and China and France, which are leading in this particular technology, NASA contracts 80% of its budget to private firms and universities. So this is one particular example which is in front of you. As we every time say US as our best friend and we replicate US, we tend to target whatever US is targeting in that nature. If you could see in that, NASA contracts itself 80% of the budget which is there, that is going to private firms and universities. The Jet Propulsion Laboratory was created at Caltech and later funded by NASA. This is one particular example through which the US rocket technological innovations. Recently, Elon Musk, who have been integrated into the private, he had a private base, but he has funded with some government, but as of now he is in the cabinet. Chances would be very great the Trump administration might make him more better and better. More funding would be reaching to those particular private entity locations. And if you see China also, private AI research teams like DeepSeek emerged from algorithm trading backgrounds, demonstrating the spillover of private R&D. So China, which is our neighboring country, we can take the case study of example from here too. And if you see France, which is very high expertise in defense technologies, the defense research is primarily conducted in private defense firms with government funding institutions. So here if you could see these countries from where we would be taking huge amount of case studies, these particular private entities give us a sense that the private led technological innovations in most of the developed countries, they are on row. So India should also concentrate more and more research and innovation in the private universities, which has to be funded by public funding. And India shift towards private sector led innovation. If you see, there are few segments where the private sector led innovation has been shifted in a phased manner. So a December 24 paper argued that taxpayer funded R&D in private firms and universities, it emphasized risk management through contracting research to multiple firms. So few papers and few arguments and few intellectuals were also in that particular consideration that yes, we can offer the private universities by funding and leading to innovations, but there is huge amount of emphasized risk management through this contracting research to the multiple firms. So rather than sticking to multiple firms, it's better we stick to this close cluster. Already the experiment which we have did, or the contract which we had already with the Tata companies and also with that of Baba Atomic Research Centers, if we could manage them effectively, that is more than enough, rather than diversifying the portfolio or rather than expanding the portfolio. And government initiatives, if you could see, Anusandhan National Research Foundation, high chances are there this particular question might come in 2025 preliminary examination. The reason behind it is, it has been appeared in newspaper heavy, and during the June-July budget also they have mentioned regarding with Anusandhan National Research Foundation. It has been allocated with 2,800 crore annually to private R&D initiatives. So Anusandhan National Research Foundation, just try to check this particular background from where the question might come. If you see budget 2024 and 2025, 20,000 crores allocated to private sector driven research. So it means government is having an opinion to make their fiscal management to reach to these private sectors so that the innovation comes, or the output whichever would be coming, that would be great. So government is also in this particular belief, but as I've already mentioned, complete reliance on privatization or private entities or diversifying this portfolio is also not that great for exclusively those countries which have this target of being developed or Viksit Bharat by 2047. And one more thing is ISRO ka new approach, if you see, contracting private firms for launch vehicles to enhance global competitiveness. If you see, they have contracted one particular Chennai based research institute recently, and they have contracted one particular company where ISRO is throwing challenges into the market that private players can also come in this particular rocket launches as such. So this might give huge amount of significance. So the ISRO has took this particular entity as a case study of reference from the US, and it started initiating this particular progress. And if you could see, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology initiative, it has allocated somewhere around 19,000. The exact figure is 18,693. No need to remember it. Somewhere near closer to 18-19,000 graphic processing units for AI research, because AI is going to dominate in the next 25 years. That's why government is shifting into this AI research, and India AI, India Initiative AI, and India wants AI resilient jobs. That is making this graphic processing units which are there to be increased. They have allocated somewhere near closer to 18,693. You can manage it like somewhere near closer to 18,000. And private IT infrastructure firms to operate these particular graphic processing units. Here the question might raise in UPSC preliminary examination. Consider the following statements regarding with the GPUs, graphic processing units. Government recently have allocated increase in this particular GPUs for AI research. Second statement, the private IT infrastructure firms would be managing this particular graphic processing units. Yes, this statement is also true. So in this regard, the question might frame in the consider the following statement base. And by making this particular GPUs to be operated by private IT infrastructure, they are making them available to researchers at $1 per hour. So this is at very optimum rate. So this is going to give huge sense of output as such, and shifting from this statehood research equipment to buy, not make strategy, they are going to trigger huge. So the 2025 zone which is there, that is going to be very high for India. But as I have said, these many beautiful things, but we do have challenges in the implementation. This is not that easy, that from state-led to private entity if we are shifting, that makes a clear sense. The challenges include, unlike procurement of tangible goods, R&D funding requires adaptive auditing mechanisms. So we can't exactly fix a clear-cut budget, and we can't create a tangible entity, or we can't support a good. It's a service. So as the service-oriented nature is there, R&D funding requires adaptive auditing mechanisms. This is one challenge which we will face. And we are required with huge amount of legal reforms as strategic public finance planning and institutional restructuring. So randomly we can't do, we need huge amount of legal reforms in it, and balancing risk and accountability in contracting private firms for the scientific research. So these are the three challenges which are there. By focusing these amount of challenges, our state-led private innovation research might trigger high, and it might help us to reach to the platform Viksit Bharat 2047. So finally, I am concluding with this particular segment, like the 2025, the 11 months which we are in left out with this particular segment, is poised to be a turning point in India's science policy. This is one particular segment, and the country is embracing the idea of shifting public money into private universities and firms that shall produce cutting edge research. So by following this policy of private universities and firms which are getting the public money for the research innovation development, that is 100% going to give us a cutting edge, and the output is going to be very high, and the taxpayer gets more value for their money as a result. Initially, in shorter span of time, we can't see the results. At least a 5-year research funding can show us better results as such. And when a private firm is working in an area, it will try to do research well, because it also have direct interest in knowledge sought to be produced, and also competition which is available in the market. If they are not doing effectively, obviously the funding might shift to some other sector or some other segment. That's why they would be obviously in a competitive zone. However, the challenges lies in developing effective implementation frameworks. As I've thrown you the challenges, by how come we make these particular implementations to happen very effectively to maximize innovation and as well as societal gains. So by concentrating on challenges, making the public money to enter into private universities and firms is going to give the consumer, so-called as Indian, a huge benefit, huge output, but it will take minimum of 5 years if we calculate from the phase of 2025 to 2030. Within 2025, you cannot abruptly see the graph that is raising in the innovation. It would be taking 5 years of base time. Clear? And the question of the day: what challenges need to be addressed for successful implementation of private sector driven research? So simply isme what you are going to write, you are going to write the challenges which are there, which I have said, the 3 challenges, the legal reforms wala challenge, competitive wala challenge. You are going to write and address these 3 challenges, and how we are going to tackle these particular challenges, you are going to mention in the body and conclusion. Hope you have enjoyed this particular lecture. Please click on the like button if you have enjoyed it, and share this video to as much as you can. And click on subscribe button to Ekam IAS Academy channel, and also click on bell icon so that you would be getting continuous notifications. And if you want us to make more and more videos, please do drop in the comment section. We take your feedbacks as a positive note. Thank you for watching this video. Have an awesome day. Jai Hind.